Hello all my Algebra 1 Up friends out there. This video I'm going to be graphing linear functions. This is the very first section of chapter 4, unit 4, where we're going to be graphing lines. We're going to be, if we see the word linear functions, if you kind of get rid of the AR, you're just left with lines. So we're just going to be graphing lines. These are going to be straight lines. So maybe it'll look something like that, or maybe it'll look like this, or maybe it'll look like this. Right, they're all just straight lines. Straight lines. Okay, so in order to do this, we have to know something about our equation. If we get y by itself, y equals mx plus b, whatever number is in front of x, this m, that is called your slope, or how tilted the graph is. So like the slope of this one's going up, so that one has a positive slope, and that one has a negative slope, and this one doesn't really have one, so that's called an undefined slope. But we'll talk about that later. So this m, this slope, is considered rise over run, up and down, over left and right, whatever we do, okay? We'll see that more as we get into these things. The b, or the number without the x, it's always the number without the x, is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is just wherever you hit on your y-axis. So say our y-intercept was 3, there's where we would start, and then we could do our slope, say it's up 3 over 1 or whatever, and then we could draw a straight line and just make beautiful little things. Consider this problem. Here's our first example. We have y equals 2/3 x plus 1. Well, before we said that m is the thing right in front of the x, so there's our m. This is also, remember, our slope. Like we have a mountain slope, it's how tilted the line is. Slope is also rise over run. So if I know that slope is rise over run, and this is 2 over 3, then my rise must be 2, and my run must be 3. Okay, again, this is just a ratio. This is not the point 2/3 on the x-axis or 2/3 on the y-axis. This is a ratio. This is what helps us get from point to point. With this plus 1, that is the number without the variable. So then this is our y-intercept, or where I hit on the y-axis. So if I know that my y-intercept is 1, then I'm going to hit on my y-axis at 1. That is my very first point. And then this slope, like I said, is a ratio. So I go rise over run, so up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3, to get to my next point, which would be right there. You can do it again. Okay, so say, well, I need one more. Say we go up 1, 2 from there, over 1, 2, 3. There's another point. And if you see, they're kind of starting to form a straight line. If you want to go in the other direction, just follow the same thing. We went up 2 over 3. So instead go down 2 to the left 3. Do the opposite direction so that you would have another point. And you can continue your straight line in both directions forever and ever. It never says that it stops, so we're not going to assume that it does. Okay, looking at another example now. Now that we've graphed one of our examples, maybe you want to stop, pause the video, take a shot at this. Give it a shot. So first thing I notice, here's your m. Okay. Here's your b, is positive 2. This is b. Sorry, b is our y-intercept. You're going to see this as b. b means the same thing as y-intercept. Okay, so if our m is negative 3 over 4, and m is rise over run, again, don't forget that. Pound it in your head. Just say, m is rise over run. Just go around school saying, m is rise over run. Just like I go around yelling, Bunanda! And nobody looks at me weird. Well, maybe they do, but I don't care. So if you want to graph this, first thing you're going to put in on your graph is your y-intercept. Y-intercept is positive 2. Ooh, that wasn't very good, but that's okay. You'll get the hang of it. So that's at 2. And then we're going to go, here's the thing, we have a negative rise, so we're going to go down 3 over 4. So I'll go down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see, down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my next point right at the end of my rise over run. So straight line going through, straight line, all rise. Okay, when you do this and you have a graph paper and you're not having to draw a grid like me, then try to give me at least 4 or 5 points. So that way you actually have an accurate representation of your slope. Look at another example. Again, we have y equals mx plus b. So if I have mx plus b, then my m is 3. And my b is negative 2. My y-intercept is negative 2. So I know I'm going to be crossing my y-axis at negative 2. I know slope is rise over run. but I don't have a fraction right now. Well, let's see. I know I have 3. If I wanted to make 3 a fraction, I know 3 divided by 1 is still 3, so I didn't change the value of 3, but I just made it into a fraction. So now I know that the rise is 3, the run is 1, so when I want to try to do this from my y-intercept, I go up 1, 2, 3, run 1, and there's our slope. You can do it again. You can go up 1, 2, 3, over 1, there's another point. Okay, and then draw your straight line going through all your points. There we go. Okay, here's a different looking example. I know when I was solving things, when I was graphing, we wanted to have y equals mx plus b. So check that out. Y is by itself. That's the only way we know to find m and b, because in this case, since y is not by itself, I can just solve for y, just like we did in the last unit when you solve for a variable. So if I solve for y, don't forget to add or subtract things first. So if I subtract 2x and minus 2x, then 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. And then I can divide both sides by 3, divide everything by 3. So that will leave me with y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. Awesome. There's my m, there's my b. I'm good to go. I can draw my graph. I just had deja vu. That's really weird. Oh boy. It's like the Oreo commercial. And those of you that don't know the Oreo commercial, or when you watch this video in like 3 years and you're having me when I'm 20 something, late 20s, I shouldn't say. Gosh. Anyways, whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Nobody. Only the bananas. So, in this case, m is in front of our x, so slope is negative 2/3. Your b is 2. So I'm just going to write that out. I usually do. M is 2/3 negative. B is 2. Don't forget, you always, always, always start with your y-intercept. So put your y-intercept on your graph first so that you cross at 2. And then you go down 2 over 3 because it's rise over run. So down 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. And we have a point there. Straight lines. So we're drawing lines, straight lines. That's as close as I can get. Cool. You guys are doing awesome. I'm going to do one more example, then we'll be done. Alright, last example for this video. Again, just like in the last one, we're going to have to solve for y first. So if I subtract 4x from both sides, that goes to 0. So I have negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 8. And then I can divide both sides by the negative 2 because I want to have a positive y. So if I divide everything by negative 2, that's 1. So I have y equals negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2x. 8 divided by negative 2 is minus 4. I have an m, I have a b. I should be good to go on the graphing of this thing. So that here's my m. So m is 2. And I'm going to put it over 1. Since I know I'm going to have to do rise over run anyways, might as well put it over 1. B is negative 4. So let's graph it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is it? Positive 2, negative 2, positive 2? That's good. So again, start with your y-intercept. Put that on your graph first. So at negative 4, you cross your y-axis. Then your rise is up 2 over 1. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1. Do it again. You can do it again if you want to. Oh, that's not a very straight line. Well, yeah, I'm pretty close. Okay, straight lines, it'll be easier when you have a grid, when you have graph paper in front of you and you're actually trying to do this. Okay, some of this you should be able to, well, all of this you should be able to do without a calculator, and then you can use a calculator to check it if you really want to. Okay, thank you as always for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, got something useful out of it. Make sure you take notes, try problems. You guys are awesome. Have a good night.